Boom, what up everyone? We're back today with a rough country, hard trifold, flip up bed cover. The top tier bed cover you can get for your truck. I think it's the best. A better budget option than the backflips. Backflips are over $1,000. I think these are around like 8 to 9. But let's get into it. We're gonna install it today and we're going to just go step by step through the process. We're gonna be putting this one on my 2024 Chevy Colorado ZR2. But let's get into the box and figure this out. Everyone needs a Mora knife. These are made in Sweden. These knives, comes with a cover, but these are super sharp. You can get them on Amazon for like $10, $12, but they're amazing knives. I'll leave a link in the description, but these are sick. Super sharp. And this thing is probably 10 years old at this point, and this knife is what I use to cut no matter anything I'm cutting in the garage. This thing's going strong, but definitely recommend them. But let's see what's in this box. All right, well, let's start. Get into this box. We'll have plenty of padding for shipping stuff after this, I'm sure. All right, looks like this first piece is the trifold cover itself, and then we'll have a bunch of parts to work with. I also like to keep the box pieces separate so you can kind of lay out your parts. There's our bed cover. And then, looks like we got our weather strips, our drain plugs, our hardware, and then these are the side railings. These are what go on the sides of the bed of your truck. So, looks like we probably have everything here. And our lovely instructions. So keep this bad boy. Make sure you have the right parts. Make sure everything came in the box. All right, first things first. Let's make sure we have all our parts. Obviously, we have our bed cover, but now let's make sure we have these parts. The rails, we have those two right there. Drain tubes, I called them drain plugs earlier. Here they are. Foam stripping good. And all the rest of this hardware should probably be in this little box here. And yeah, look at that. All right, so let's open this up, see what we got. Yeah. All right. All these clamps to clamp these side rails onto the bed of the truck. And then for the Chevy Colorado, I believe we're going to be using these guys too to have some extra clamping to the bed. I think the Colorado Chevys have an extra slot to kind of reinforce even more. Clamp knobs, here they are here, and then we have some more hardware here. But yeah, let's just start installing. So we'll follow our booklet here. Staking mounting brackets. We have a short bed, 24 Colorado. So yeah, let's get to it. All right, so we're gonna be attaching the weather stripping to the top back of the bed here against the cabin. The weather stripping goes across this. So we're gonna clean the top of this and also clean these rails of the truck because that's where the top of the bed cover is gonna be against. So we wanna make sure it's nice and clean, but we definitely wanna clean this so the double-sided tape on the weather stripping adheres. Again, just giving everything a wipe down, trying to clean it. Luckily it's super hot out today, so this will dry pretty rapidly, so then we can attach the bulkhead seal, as they call it. But it's just attaching the weather stripping to make it more weatherproof. All right, so we have our weather stripping here that we're gonna attach through here. So let's see how this looks. Let's see if the length is correct. All right, we're there to about there. So it looks like we'll have a little extra. But yeah, so we're gonna basically peel off this double-sided tape here and attach it to the front. All right, let's peel this off here. It's gonna be the toughest part of the job, is getting this getting this off here. Oh, there we go. All right, so we're gonna leave a little bit on, just to make sure we don't get it stuck on anything. See how straight we can actually get this time. On the Maverick we did, it was a little wobbly. It was a windy road, and boom. All right, so we'll cut it off right here, but that is our weatherproofing. So let's get to it. All right, so I'm really just gonna go through again and just pat it down to make sure that double-sided tape is pressed nice and firmly down to the surface, just to make sure it lasts for longevity purposes. And I'm going to cut off this extra bit here, and I may use this extra portion here to maybe fill in over here just to make it extra weatherproof, let's say. Boom. So again, this sharp knife comes in handy. Although, oh, there it is. Yeah. Traditionally, the area of concern when you put on these bed covers is this little corner right here. That's where the water may pool up and come in through here. So we're actually going to use this extra bit of weatherproofing I'm going to put in right here, just to give it some extra resistance to resist that water wanting to come in through the corner here. All right, so maybe cut off a piece yay big, and let's kind of throw that in there. Boom. Hopefully we're still able to get the rails on, but let's see. Now that we have the weather stripping applied, we're gonna just place the side rails on just to fit them up. But if you, these are marked left and right hand side, so if you come on over here, you'll be able to see, ooh man, this plastic. Sticky stuff. But if you look here, there's the left-hand side. All right, so we're going to be applying the left-hand side rail. So let's see, prop sticks there, drain holes there. Boom. So it kind of sticks right on there with whatever the rubberiness in between here and the truck. It kind of just sticks it in there, and then we'll be putting the clamps along there to clamp this to the side of the truck. One of the more difficult parts of the install is figuring out what to do with this hardware. You'll have a couple sets of clamps like this. There's going to be a hole in one and a slot in the other. These clamp together like so, and you're going to take one of the included bolts with your hardware here, and they're going to slide in through here, and you're going to just tighten it like so. And so this is the clamp that's going to clamp the rail to the side of the truck. And then once you have it like that, once it's on the truck and it's on the rail, this is going to go in through the bottom here, and this is going to tighten up that clamp connection. So this is a full unit right here, and I'll show you exactly how to install this onto the truck. But the first one we're actually going to install is going to be this unique one. In the Chevys, the sides of the bed have a slot on the top rail where you could slide this in and actually hook these rails in. So let's demonstrate that one now. So we'll grab one of these screws. Again, this is going to come through here and then slot in through here, and this is your clamp. And let's go see if we can attach it to the side of the truck. All right, so here is the hole we're talking about. Here's the rear of the truck. We have a slot here. We're going to punch out this guy right here. This little rubber seal. All right, so now that we have the seal out of there, we have this access hole. We're gonna take this clamp right here, this black part we're gonna have against the truck. So you're gonna use this pre-cut out slot, slide that in, boom. And now we take this guy, throw it in the hole, and you have one of your bolts, throw it through the slot, and screw it in. And remember, the set came with these Allen keys, so you'll grab one of those, make it a little easier for yourself, and we will tighten that down. And we're not gonna go too tight right now because we're gonna attach the rest of the clamps in the middle and the front there in those pre-cut slots, and then we'll tighten them all down once it's kind of set and we know this thing is straight and aligned and tight to the bedside. All right, so we have one of our units put together here. If you look underneath here, you'll see another cutout. This is the one in the middle. You'll put this one behind, and this goes up in the cutout, and then this should be able to slide on. So you'll get out of the cutout, you'll slide this on, tighten it up a little bit, and we're gonna tighten this. And again, we're not gonna tighten these too much right now because we want to make sure the rail is on the truck really nicely, and then we'll get them all very tight. But yeah, you'll tighten this and you'll tighten this. Basically what you're trying to do is get this clamp on here really good, clamping this rail to the side of the truck really well. But right now, it's on there pretty good. Let's move on and get this guy done as well. All right, so we're at the front here. We have another slot cut out here, so we'll put one right here. You can see here's the drain plug that we're gonna put the tube, or the drain hole we're gonna put the tube in, and then probably exit it maybe through here, or maybe actually through here. That'd be a good drain area. We'll have to unplug that and see what's in there. But let's set this clamp up. So this is the back, this is the front. We're going to twist that on. Get this guy on a little bit, and then slide her on. Boom, nice. You can see how that moves around a little bit. So you tighten it up, and then you'll tighten this guy more. But again, we're not gonna go super tight right now because we wanna kind of just make sure it's on well enough. So about right here is where I lost audio on one of our cameras. So I'll just be kind of dictating some of this work here. But what I'm showing here is we're doing the same thing on the right-hand side, the passenger side of the truck. We are adding the clamps. We added the rail to the side of the bed. We're adding the rear clamp first here. And now this is where I'm going to be moving on to the center and the front clamp that's closest to the cabin of the truck. So enjoy. So here's the truck with both side rails installed. All right, now the heavy part. We're going to grab the actual bed cover itself and carry this over and place it on top of those rails and see if it's going to line up correctly. All right, so let's pick this bad boy up. All right, so we have the bed cover. We're gonna first place it up onto the truck, and then I'll hop up and get it taken care of. One thing you want to make sure you do is this rubber piece here, you want it to go beyond the weather stripping and down in between the cab and the bed here. So we want to get that piece up like that because that's going to be our extra weatherproofing. And then hopefully we get this guy lined up right. This is the hardest part, lining this bed cover up. Let's unclip these. Give myself some more. All right, so we'll hop down there and look at the sides and see if we can line it up. So let's see how we're gonna line up here. This hole right here needs to line up with this slot right there, if you could see that, which we're pretty much on here, but we also want to make sure this weather stripping falls out the back here. So again, this is the tricky part. You got to line this up as tight to the cab as you can and make sure it actually lines up to here, which looks like we're almost good here. If you close the tailgate, we're pretty much lining up, so we're almost where we need to be. But again, it's got to be perfect. Also, when you're messing around with this bed cover, you can move it around and you'll see how it kind of slots into place. You can feel it when it goes into place. I mean, we probably have it pretty good already. But again, we need this weather seal to go in between the cab of the truck, and we need this hole to line up with that slot underneath there. All right, so the last attachments, or the last hardware we have, are these bolts, wing nuts, and knobs, and actually a cover for the bolt. At the front of the bed cover, where it attaches by the cabin, those holes I just showed you that has to fit through the slot, this is going to go through the top of the bed cover, through the slot on the rail. Then we're going to have this guy to tighten on. That's pretty long here. And then our wing nut. Isn't there a famous band that has someone named Wingnut in it? It's like Green Day or Limp Bizkit or something like that. Not that I really like either of those bands these days, but you know. But yeah, it goes like this. But let's go undo this and go attach it to the bed cover. All right, after a bunch of negotiation with the bed cover here, I was able to get these two knocked in. You may just have to use some force, but it's a real tight fit. And as you get one knocked in, make sure the other stays put. And then yeah, you can see the weather stripping. It's up a little bit over there, so we'll push it in, but it's gonna be a good fit. And I may, again, throw some more weather stripping in right here, because this is the problem corner where water gets in. Again, it's supposed to go into the channel of the rail. But yeah, take some work, line it up, get these guys in. We'll go into the bottom and then get these fully attached. All right, so now we're gonna be putting our hardware on these bolts to make sure we have a secure connection of the bed cover to the rails, and it keeps our alignment. All right, so we have our knob installed, and then we'll put the wing nut and the cap on. So wing nuts on second, and then we'll put on our cap. And then basically you'll know you're good once you can put this cap on. If the cap doesn't go on, you haven't gone far enough. All right, so we're good. And then remember when we cut this thing out earlier? All right, let's actually see what's underneath here. All right, yep, this is just a clip, a retaining clip. These just attach right here. Boom. See that? So an extra security element to keep this thing connected to the side rail.
All right, so we're back to my video camera angles that have no audio. So I'm gonna just speak over this part, but we're just making sure the bed cover is attached to the truck. We are looking at all the mounting points, making sure they are attached. And then this little squeeze clip here, this is how you will unlatch the bed cover from the truck. As you squeeze it, it'll pull both sides of it and you flip it open.
All right, guys, it's been almost 2 months, a couple thousand miles, and a long road trip since we put on the bed cover. Let's see how it's holding up. Oh, here's the truck. Bed cover still installed here. Looking good, a little dirty here. But yeah, she's worked well for the truck, still attached to the side. But yeah, we took this thing out to the desert and did a bunch of off-roading on a long road trip, and the thing is still attached. Kept the elements out of the truck, so I would say this thing is a buy. Anyways, the bed cover has been great. It deters any theft. It keeps the elements out of your bed and keeps your stuff safe. Please like and subscribe if you like this content, and if you want more, it helps me out. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.